Again, I appreciate you checking out the videos. It's been about a week and a half since I've checked in the last time. Um, Work life, full-time job's been a little bit crazy, been on the road a lot, so I haven't had a whole lot of time to really dedicate to trading or getting the video updates in. But kind of wanted to do a quick update of where the $100 Robinhood account stood at the end of September and where things are now as we've gotten into the second week of October at this point. So, um, anyway, going into the last week of October, things had gone pretty well. So I was trying to be a little bit conservative because I was up in the account, maybe 35, 40%, something like that. Um, so ultimately, due to the travel, I haven't been able to really do the Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule that I'd really hoped to try and focus on one trade each of those 3 days if possible, to stay within the pattern day trade rule and, try and grow this account to something a little better. But um, in any case, on the 27th, I ended up getting into two trades. Both were pretty small little scalps. I was trying to kind of play it safe, sort of not give back any of the profits that I've had pulled in to this point in September. So traded IGC and GERN. I don't know if that's what people call it. That's what I call it. On IGC, anyway, both of these actually were sort of late afternoon trades, which isn't something I tend to do quite as much. I usually sort of look for gappers in the morning and kind of jump in there. If I can get a little bit of a pullback that I think looks decent, I'll jump in. But like I said, I was sort of adapting to what the schedule was allowing at the time. So anyway, got into IGC at 398, sold at 405. Picked up a percent and a half, almost 2%, something like that. So, call it like a $1.30, a $1.40. Um, Gurn in at 221, out at 224. Again, picked up maybe a little bit more than a percent. But nonetheless, given the amount of time I've been working with, I was pretty happy to snag two small green trades. Um, in some ways, with this small account, I think one of the more important things is it's going to be difficult to have big wins in terms of dollar amounts. You can do all right on percentages, but I think what I'm really going to have to do is try and focus on consistency first to make sure I can get this thing built up to a halfway decent level where I can possibly be a little bit more aggressive on some of these trades. But anyway, went for two safe ones on the afternoon of the 27th. Both were green, both were small, but that's all right. So ended up on the 28th then using my last day trade of the week, getting back in on IGC. Got in on that one at 575, got out at 612. Again, I think that was late afternoon, probably held it for 5 or 6 minutes. For my account size, it's about 6.5%. So that ended the month of September for me. All in all, ended up, account had gone from $100 to $149.93. So picking up almost 50% in about 3 weeks, which in terms of percentage gains is really pretty good. I had 8 total trades that I went through. Was green on 7, red on 1. So in terms of success rate, I can't complain about that at all. And that's reflected in the rate of return that I had for the month of September. Unfortunately, an old nemesis, the poorly planned and even more poorly executed FOMO-driven swing trade got me to start October. So I've been sitting here watching all these pot stocks run around in after hours, and I'd really started to feel like I'd been missing out on a lot of these big moves that were happening after hours. So for whatever reason, talked myself into thinking that David's Tea was the next one to be able to make a run. So on the afternoon of the second, right before close, like 350, 355, something like that, jumped in at $3.98. Thought if it broke 4, maybe it would take off after hours. Initially, I was proven right. Within the first 30 minutes or so, by like 4:30, 4:45, it had crested into like 460. So, I was pretty self-congratulatory at the time, thinking I'd really nailed this thing. Only to be reminded once again about how cold and heartless trading can be, as some ill-fated PR came out and basically said, The CEO says nothing's happened with this company. We don't know why the stock's going up. We have no reason to explain this movement. So naturally, that will kill the momentum. But I had no day trades. I had no outs on this trade. Broke my own rule about getting in a hold or an overnight hold um, without any day trades left to be able to get out of it. So all I could do was sit and watch it drop. So, like so many before me, I became more of a long-term investor in David's tea. So I held on to it for a few days, hoping that you know there would be some kind of rebound or it would come back. Fortunately, that was not the case. So 3 days later, on the 5th, ended up selling it at $2.80 for a whopping $1.18 loss per share. Cost me about $29.50. So I understand that it's $29.50, right? We're not talking life-changing amounts of money here, but it's almost a 30% loss for the account. So when your account size is $150, losing 30 is a major hit. Inexcusable. I know better than that. I have rules to prevent myself from doing that. I also know that one of my biggest weaknesses are overnight holds where, I've got FOMO and I just don't adhere to what I know to be the intelligent move. So, in any case, paid for that one. And like I said, the amount of money's not huge, but it definitely hurts with a small account. Giving back a lot of that progress with one stupid mistake. And then, it proceeded to go ahead and impact another trade because at that point, after I sold it on the 5th, now I'm trading angry, right? So, immediately dove into a completely unplanned chase trade. Just a completely emotional decision. Got into GTXI, totally chased it, jumped in at 321. Bottom fell out damn near immediately. I ended up getting some slippage as I stopped out of it at 297. So it turned my, nearly catastrophic $30 loss into an additional $8.40 loss. So, you see a lot of seasoned, successful traders. One of the things they talk about most often is controlling your emotions and having discipline. I didn't have discipline when I jumped into David's tea, paid for it, and then couldn't control my emotions trying to make up for it. So what I ended up doing was turning an already bad loss of $30 into a terrible loss, of what more or less amounts to like $38. So decided to call it quits last week. Obviously, I wasn't, focusing on things that I need to be focused on. What are you going to do? So anyway, ended up calling off the week. Decided to wait until this week. Been traveling a lot for work. It's been kind of tough. So, I did have 3-day trades finally, all set coming into this week. And decided to go ahead and jump into one today. I had a little break and some travel time. And jumped back into IGC again. I've had pretty good success with it. So I decided, let's give it one more shot. So that's what I did. Ended up getting in this afternoon, $5.68. Thought it was about to push through and really make a run. It just sort of piddled around there. It never went below my entry point. I think it hit like 580 and sort of bounced around there between 570 and 580. But it got to the point where I was starting to get uncomfortable and was afraid that it was going to come back down. I was going to be back on a red trade again. So decided to go ahead and get out of it, take a little bit of profit. It wasn't going to be enough to make much of a difference, but at least it would be a green trade, sort of getting back on the right track. Naturally, I get out of it, and I think it ended up closing at 675 or something like that. So I missed what would have been over $1 a share move. But that's just how it goes. If I got into it 4, 5, 6 minutes after I'd hit it at exactly the right time to catch that big run up. But there's no guarantee you're going to hold it the whole time anyway. There's those little, sort of micro pullbacks and things like that can shake you out from time to time. So, in any case, made less than $1 off of it, but at least it's a green trade. So, went 7 green, 1 red in September, 2 red and 1 green so far in October, but at least the last trade was a green one. So, small but green. So, Gonna shoot for Wednesday, probably this week. Tomorrow's not gonna be a good day for me to be able to do that. So probably shoot for Wednesday, and then use Thursday or Friday as my third day trade for this week. So I'm once again going to try and stay away from overnight holds. Perhaps this lesson and doing these videos and being held accountable for it maybe will make a little bit of a difference. I don't know. All I can do is hope and try and maintain some discipline. So again, I appreciate you checking out the videos. Thanks very much. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to let me know. Subscribe, keep up to date on this thing. Hopefully I can get to making up some of the losses that I sustained last week that kind of set me back a little bit. So anyway, as it stands, we've gone from $1 to almost $1.15 now. Peaked at about about 151 bucks, now down to about 115. So, about 4 weeks into this, being up 15% really isn't terrible. It could be a lot worse. I mean, I could be in the red. So at this point, it's still up on the account, and we'll continue to work on growing this and see where we go. So again, thanks for checking in. Hope your Monday was good, and good luck the rest of the week. Thanks.